Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a wild story coming out from China for you. We have a report from the Telegraph publication that China is preparing an armada of ferries and civilian vessels to invade Taiwan by 2027. Now, American intelligence believes this, that they're planning to seize the island by 2027, and obviously, it could come sooner. We don't know exactly when China would do this. I've even been hearing reports that they may attack Taiwan as soon as next month. I don't think personally it'll happen as soon as next month, but it'll probably just come randomly one day, sometime now between maybe the next 5 years. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, they're planning to take the island very soon, probably within the next few years, according to the Telegraph. And they plan to use a fleet armada of civilian boats, and the reason is they have very little military vessels that they can use in their navy to transport all their equipment. Okay, they would have to transport probably tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of equipment, tanks, whatever it might be, and then also their troops. Okay, they gotta transport probably hundreds of thousands of troops just to take this island, if not millions. And it wouldn't be an easy task for them, of course, because Taiwan is very mountainous. Their terrain is very mountainous, and there's also 23 million people that live there. So this is not, a tiny island. It's not a small unpopulated island. There's a lot of people that are there, and this would not be obviously a very easy thing for them to do. But who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But I've got lots of information to go over here with you today regarding this topic. So let's go ahead and get right into this. This is on Yahoo News, but originally from the Telegraph. So we're going to read their publication here on Yahoo News. So it says China preparing armada of ferries to invade Taiwan. So this just coming out yesterday, actually. China's preparing an armada of ferries and civilian vessels to invade Taiwan as Beijing steps up its pressure campaign against the island nation. While the People's Liberation Army lacks the number of amphibious landing craft needed to stage the sort of invasion seen during the D-Day landings, it could bridge the gap with civilian vessels, including dozens of gigantic roll-on and roll-off ferries that can each carry hundreds of armored vehicles. So they'd be using like ferries, maybe like fishing boats. They'd probably commandeer like almost any boat they can possibly get. They do a lot of fishing over there. It's in the Asia Pacific area. Lots and lots of fishing is done. So I'm sure they have tons and tons of civilian boats that could be used. And apparently they would use these to overwhelmed Taiwan after their beach defenses are maybe taken out once the initial attack is launched. So it says right here, amphibious landings under fire are among the most difficult of military maneuvers, said Ray Powell, the director of Sea Light, a Stanford University project focused on gray zone activities in the South China Sea. Civilian ferries would normally be poor choices for such a mission, but could be used to transport troops en masse across the Taiwan Strait after its coastal defenses are destroyed, or to overwhelm the island's military with sheer mass. So that would make sense if they were to do that. Just use it as a sheer mass. Just send lots and lots of troops at once, tons and tons of vessels, and just completely overwhelm their defenses. This would probably be after some sort of barrage with, bombings and airstrikes, things like that from their aircraft, which they do have a pretty massive air force. So Beijing launched two days of military drills in the waters around Taiwan on Thursday in what it said was a strong punishment for separatist acts after a fiery inauguration address in Taipei earlier this week by Lai Ching-te, who was sworn in as president for a 4-year term. Yeah, one of the things he said that sparked the these military drills from China was he told China to stop harassing them, stop threatening them, and to accept the fact that Taiwan was a democracy. So that was a big statement to Xi Jinping, a big slap in his face, and telling him we're not going to be a part of China. We will always be a democracy and independent from China. And obviously, Xi Jinping doesn't want that. He wants to bring Taiwan back to the homeland. So it says here, it was the third set of exercises encircling the island in the past 2 years. We urge China to exercise a self-restraint and stop undermining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and beyond, Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said. China regards democratic Taiwan as part of its territory and has vowed to bring the island under its control, possibly by force, and U.S. intelligence believes that Xi Jinping has ordered the PLA to be ready to take the island by 2027. In the meantime, Taipei has had to react to a campaign of so-called gray zone activities, including frequent cyber attacks, regular incursions by military jets in its airspace, and harassment by Chinese vessels in its waters. Taiwan's military is vastly smaller than China's, but it is protected by formidable mountainous terrain and the treacherous 110-mile Taiwan Strait. The Chinese Navy already has the world's biggest surface fleet, and it also built dozens of dual-use vessels capable of acting during peacetime and in war. A decade ago, Beijing issued technical guidelines for shipbuilders that would enable many of its civilian vessels to be suitable for military uses, and is believed to have integrated its ferries, tankers, and container ships within its military command structure, according to a report from U.S. Naval War College's China Maritime Studies Institute. So that's crazy. If they had already previously done this with their civilian vessels, they had already integrated them and manufactured them in a way to make them compatible for their military, to maybe transport, their tanks or artillery or whatever it might be, whatever they need to transport across the sea over to Taiwan. So it looks like this is something they've been preparing for a very long time now, maybe even over a decade, in preparation for this attack on Taiwan. So this is definitely massive news here, and we've just been seeing so much provocation from China lately, and speaking very openly, especially Xi Jinping, stating that he wants to take Taiwan, and they plan to take them eventually at some point. They will at least attempt to. Now, the big question here is, how is the U.S. going to respond to this? Because I think a lot of people are wondering that. Is the U.S. going to step up and help Taiwan? Will they not help them? Will they provide a certain amount of military support, like maybe try to bring them in supplies, assuming that China is not able to cut those supplies off and prevent the U.S. from doing so? Or will they go, full-fledged and join this war with Taiwan and completely defend them, like they would, like the Philippines or maybe some other countries that are over there in the South China Sea? So I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure what the U.S. would do. I would think they would come and back Taiwan, but at the same time, I don't know if the U.S. is interested in a war with China right now, considering all the problems, all the economic problems and everything else going on. But at the same time, Taiwan is a pretty important country to the United States. Okay, they're I think the number one producer of semiconductors, if not one of the top countries producing semiconductors and computer chips for many important equipment, even for the military of the U.S. Okay, this would be a huge blow to them if they were to let Taiwan fall and to China. Okay, China would take over and control that, and I don't know if the U.S. would be okay with that. So I don't know. Let me know what you think, whether the U.S. would actually come to their aid and defend them. But like I said, we are hearing some unconfirmed reports that it's possible by next month they could be trying to take Taiwan. But in my personal opinion, I think they will just kind of randomly do this out of nowhere sometime in the next few years, maybe, assuming that they are planned and ready to do this by 2027. So yeah, share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comments section. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.